Hello, welcome back to Beauty Bee and to a 2 looks, 1 palette and mini review using my Viseart Petit Pro 3 palette. Yes, I did grab the right one. I have 2 and 3 sitting right next to each other. And this will be the second look. I would usually say that this is the more colorful one, but honestly, neither of them is super colorful this time around. And then at the end, I will share my thoughts after having used this palette for 2 complete looks and then supplementing a third look using a couple shades from this palette. So if that sounds interesting, I hope you will keep watching. Please consider liking and subscribing, and let's get into the look. Okay, and here we are. I think that today's look is going to be pretty neutral. I think that I'm going to start with this sort of transition looking shade. I mean, it's like the most nondescript transition looking shade that I've ever seen. And I'm going to use that in my transition area. I know that's shocking. I do have eyeshadow primer, and then I have set down my eyeshadow primer with a little bit of a slightly shimmery bone color shadow, but I don't have any other makeup on. Or my skincare, I'm realizing, but whatever. It's too late in the morning to go for that. I need to get ready and then get to work. Okay, so I think I'm going to go for that more yellow green all over the lid, this shade. I'm gonna try that first just with my finger. We'll see how that goes. Okay, that actually works really well. I had heard that Viseart had a couple of different shimmery formulas and that some were easier and more high impact than others on first application, and it looks like this is one of the more high impact ones. The other one, which is all of the shimmers in my Viseart Petit Pro 2, you can build up and you can use wet or with glitter glue to get some really high impact shimmer, but you also have the option of going a little bit more subtle with them. Okay. I feel like that color is not showing up on camera, but in person, that's looking very yellow-green. Okay. So now I think I'm going to deepen up the outer corner just a little bit with probably this brown, the deeper brown shade. I'm just getting a tiny little bit of that on your ring finger and tapping it onto that area. Repeat on the other side. I think I'm going to use that same transition shade on my smudger brush and run that under my eye. And now I'm going to take a liner brush and go into this matte green. And I'm going to line kind of the outer half of my upper eyelid. And we'll see if I want to do the lower lid as well. I think that's looking good. So I will add some mascara and I will do my brows. I'll do both of those off camera just to save a little bit of time, and then we will do the rest of my face. So see you in a sec. Okay, we are keeping things quite neutral on the rest of my face. I have some lip balm on and I'm going to add just a little bit of this Melt liquid lipstick. This is in Rebound. I'm just going to paint it on the inner portion of my lower lip and blend it out with my finger. That'll give me some nice long wearing color that I won't need to maintain pretty much at all throughout the day. I might touch up after lunch, or I might not. It'll fade pretty well too. And then the only other product that I'm going to use on the rest of my face is this Pacifica blush. It's quite a neutral rosy blush. This is in the shade Wild Rose, but I think you can see that it has quite a bit of sheen to it. This kind of reminds me of some of the Becca ones, some of the Becca blushes. I think the one that I'm thinking of is it Songbird? It's kind of got that rosy copper with quite a bit of shine going for it. And I think it works as blush and highlight combined, which means that I am more or less done. And I'll see you tomorrow for the more vibrant look. Welcome to day number 2. So today I think that I'm going to go a little bit bolder than I did yesterday. I'm thinking that I'm going to go in with this purple and with this pink to do, I think of it as a tie-dye look. Basically do the outer half of my lid, the shimmery purple, do the inner half of the lid, the shimmery pink, bring that down onto the lower lash line, and then blend out my crease transition area with something. I mean, it'll probably be the same shade if we're being honest, but let's actually start though with my brow bone highlight. I'm going to use this light pink shade, well, the light pink matte. I discovered yesterday, because about halfway through the day I realized that I hadn't put on brow bone highlight and I wanted it. This is actually a pretty good brow bone highlight shade for me, which is nice because there really isn't one in my other Viseart palette. I have the Petit Pro 2, and let's set up the transition area as well. So I have somewhere, let's go with this. I have this big fluffy crease brush, and I'm just going to dip into a little bit of this matte taupe, like a really light taupe, I think. I'm just going to put that in my crease. Just like yesterday, I have eyeshadow primer and I set down the eyeshadow primer. However, unlike yesterday, I've also done my skincare, and I have actually primer and a little bit of foundation on today. So I don't know why I closed that again. Goodness. Okay, so yesterday I didn't think to put on glitter glue or use the shadows wet, and like my other Viseart palettes, these definitely will benefit from that. I was able to work it up to a nice amount of color, to work up that yellow-green shade to a nice amount of color in person. But I noticed throughout the day that when I turned my head, it looked like there were bald patches, which I'm fairly certain is just the shimmer hitting the light at different angles. I don't know why I think it's going to show now. It absolutely won't, but it's that effect that allows you to get really nice sort of duochrome-ish looks from metallic shades with a little bit of sheerness in them. So it's nice, but I want to build it up over some glitter primer so that I get a little bit more full color. And this should do the trick. Isn't that pretty? Just such a nice shine. I'm going to put this on the inner half of the lid. And into the inner corner as well, because, I mean, that's about as good of an inner corner shade as I'm going to find. Goodness, my English is lacking today. Now I'm going to go into this more pinky purple shade. Again, just on a finger. I'm going to put that on the outer half of the lid. Now I'm just going to take my clean finger, which is my pinky, and just blend the two together. That's pretty. I like that a lot. I was intending on putting the pink on the lower inner half of my lid, but I think, I mean, let's do the purple first, just on a little liner brush. And I don't think I need the pink. Okay. Goodness. I think that is eyeshadow done. I thought this was going to be a little bit bolder than it ended up being, but you know, I do have work today, so maybe it's a good thing. So I'm going to add some lipstick. This is from Kiko, and it is a shade, I don't know, it's like a pinky purple. I have a little bit of lip balm on already, so it's going on kind of sheer. That was not my neatest lipstick application ever. Just gonna make it worse before I make it better. Okay, we're gonna call that good. I'm going to add some liquid liner and some mascara. I'm not gonna stay on camera for the liquid liner. I can just call that right now, but you will see the result in just a minute. I have my liner and mascara on. I was really not loving the combination of eye and lip, so I kissed off some of my lipstick on the back of my hand just to see if I could get a little bit more of a stain, and I still don't particularly love it. So I think that I'm going to try this combo. This is my e.l.f. Hydrating Lip Shine something 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 in Delightful. I actually kind of like the way that layers over the pink. And then I'm going to add just a tiny bit of this NARS oil infused lip tint. This is in the shade Disco Infernal, and it's really not that purple. Just adds a little bit of shine, and I think it will help smooth out that combination of the Kiko lipstick and the e.l.f. just a little bit. And okay, I like that combination a lot more. Those are a little bit closer in color, like I wanted them to be. And now, first things first, I need to set down my foundation. I didn't do that earlier because I was kind of thinking about adding a little bit of cream blush, but I'm not gonna do that. So I have just some good old setting powder. The Jersey Boys are out this morning. I've never actually seen Jersey Boys, but that's what I call the very argumentative birds that live right outside of my apartment. Okay, now for a little bit of blush, I pulled out this really neutral shade from Balm. I'm not doing a good job putting my things back today. This shade, just to give me a little bit of color without adding a whole lot. And then, let's see, a little bit of bronzer is not going to hurt me either. So I'm going to use that same palette, just go into the brown, as well as a little bit of the shade that I was using for blush earlier, just to lighten things up a bit. And I'm going to put that all along my forehead. Then down here, I'm liking where all of that is at. Now for just a little bit of highlight, I'm going to go into my Wet n Wild highlighting palette and probably focus in on this pink. I might add a little bit of the white if I feel I want to brighten things up further, but I think the pink will do me for today. Yes. We are really fighting out there. Goodness. Calm down. I'm just going to take a little bit more of that powder, the setting powder that I used earlier. I'm just going to take that over my cheeks just to blend everything in together. Make my highlight look like a little bit less of a stripe on my face. And with that, I believe that I am good for the day. So this will be my third time using this Viseart palette, and I am not quite as impressed with this one as I was with the Petit Pro 2. Let me grab that. I really thought I liked the color scheme on this Petit Pro 3 a lot more than I liked the one on the 2, but I actually think I prefer the 2. I think it takes me in a little bit more interesting directions. This 3, however, is very usable, and I think that the colors are all individually quite pretty. I think this is just one that I would find myself dipping into a shade or two from other palettes a little bit more often than I might with the 2. Now I'm all twisted up. The quality on this is quite nice. I actually like the level of sheerness that really all the shades in this palette have. I like that I could layer two of the metallics over each other to get a duochrome effect, and I like that you can build up the mattes to pretty much whatever level of pigment you want. I like that it's not super pigmented right away. I think that makes them easier to work with. And just overall, I have used every shade in this palette now, and I'm pretty impressed with it. I think that this is pretty. I think that this is very functional, and I think this is something that I'm going to use quite a bit going forward. Is this worth $30? No. Like with this one, I'm gonna say sort of the $18, maybe $20 or less, I think would be a more reasonable price point for this. And I think that is about true for this one as well. I really do like this pink. I think that is going to be my favorite shade in the palette. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I am really glad that I was able to pick this up during Ipsy add-ons, and I think that I'm gonna have a lot of fun with it. So, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing if you did. I am looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye!